Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. I am Nikki Salas, and this is
Dino.
yes. We appreciate your time in watching our videos, commenting, and reaching out to us. And we're going to get right into the video because we know your time is precious, right? So, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about winning is not the goal. Winning is not the goal. And what I mean by that is, I know there was a time back in my life where I was very, very competitive. Very competitive. And people that know me knew that. But as I got remarried with my wife, I noticed she wasn't competitive. She was, she like didn't like the feeling that it would bring when I would try to like I won and I started to be like, man, this isn't kind of good, because what I realized back then was that in winning and in losing there has to be a winner and has to be a loser. And sometimes when you're so consumed of yourself, of winning and beating someone else, you kind of forget about what the other person is going to feel like, and then you kind of lose the fun in it, the sensation of intimacy, fellowship, and
And just connection and, enjoying another person.
and we know it, we feel it sometimes too. I'm sure a lot of people out there have been with other couples, and been competitive, and they're trying to win, at whatever games you're playing, or whatever you're doing, in your hanging out, and then I started to like pay attention to the deeper emotion of like what's really happening, and like what are we really doing to one another, even in a way when we don't realize it.
Yeah, I first of all, I say this. When we are seeking to win, you made a good point. You said that you were losing the fun. So we're seeking to win per se, but you're really losing. I am a believer that when we are doing activities with others, that it is an activity or activities that we are being mindful of the other people because we're including them, right? So if you're playing a card game or whatever type of game or activity, it is, I believe, the sole purpose of let's enjoy one another. But when I believe the enjoyment is taken out when it's okay, I gotta beat this person. I gotta beat this person. Even in he said games because it's like all types of games, right? Whether it be somebody consider a game driving, because sometimes you'll see somebody driving real fast and it's like, oh, okay, so what's the point in that? Maybe in that person's mind is, hey, I gotta win, I gotta go faster than the other person. But as we all know, nobody wins in that because we are putting other people in jeopardy, right? We can be raising other people blood pressure, make them anxious and so forth.
Yeah.
So like he was sharing when we would play games in the beginning, and I was like, nah, I don't like that. And we should be considering that or looking for that, like how is this making my partner feel, this person, whoever that you're playing a game with or activity or doing something with. And that should be an indication of letting you know that okay, the enjoyment just went out the window and went down the street somewhere.
And we're kind of bringing this up because I'm going to share a quick story. Someone had invited me to their home, me and Nikki actually, and I know you're going to remember. You probably don't know what I'm talking about now, but you will in a second. And we were playing a card game, and there was another couple there, and all of a sudden I noticed and I kind of seen the gentleman was getting upset because I was winning at the game. I think we were playing spades or something like that. and he was getting angry that I was winning, right? And now I learned to recognize that it's not that important for me to win, because this is what happened, right? And I'm just being honest. I did lose my consciousness and awareness, and then I started to get angry because he was angry. And then remember that I started to get upset, and then Nikki saw that too, that I was getting upset. And then I ended up leaving because it started to get heated and escalated.
Well,
right?
I went to the table. That's how we left.
Right.
I went to the table and got my husband was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, and I'm glad she did that because I had lost awareness and consciousness, and here I am in someone else's home, right, where you were invited to, and you ended up losing the awareness because it became a competition thing between two men. And I know sometimes
And joy went out the window.
Yeah, the fun and the first half of the party was going on good because everyone was playing bags and stuff like that. And you know, I've learned now not to try to make someone else feel bad because those are real feelings that goes into a person as well as yourself. And I realized that that's not the way to go in a relationship because it spills over into your marriage, into your partnership, your relationship with friends and people. When, for example, you have a disagreement or an opinion or you're in an argument, you feel that you have to win, you feel that you have to be above, you have to be right. Those are feelings and emotions that two people are struggling together against one another, and then the love in everything goes out the window. Does that make sense?
Yes. If you're always seeking to be right, then you're not seeking to get a lesson. You're not seeking to connect with another person. Going back to that party that we was at, like I said in the beginning or early on in the evening, everybody was enjoying themselves. They took competition or winning out the equation.
Right,
yes,
right.
It was about, we were laughing, just giggling, just having a good old time, right? And it was just even those who wasn't playing the games was enjoying it because they were able to see their significant other, because there was a lot of couples that see their significant other have a good time, because that's how we are, right? When we are seeing our partner is enjoying themselves, that makes us feel good. And it did make me feel good, not only for Dino to be in this disagreement, I should say, with this other gentleman, but I didn't want the other gentleman and his partner to feel uncomfortable or to further get angry. And then everybody stopped laughing, right? So other people at the party, then enjoyment goes out of them too. So it's like, again, like Dino said, that seeking to be right. You're like, no, I'm winning, or no, this is what I did. But if it exits everybody else out, what does it matter who's right?
And honestly, what do you gain?
Exactly.
You don't gain anything. But just the pride, which is one of the biggest sticklers in our lives, is pride itself, right? And you've lost, like I said before, the love, the peace. Peace is out the window. And I'm sharing this because it happens to a lot of us where you lose consciousness in a moment with the emotion of being a man and trying to be right, and you're not going to tell me what to do, and then all of a sudden it's a wrap. And then here's the thing though, after I had left the party, after you come back, right, after you come back to your senses, then you start to feel bad. You're like, wow, what happened? How did I get here? And then you really start to see in yourself how much work you still need, as a person in yourself, because it's nice to get awareness of things after the fact, but the maturity, the level of growth as a man and a woman is in the moment of the turmoil, the chaos. Can you be conscious? Can you stand outside of the situation and see yourself and say, you know what? Let me keep the peace here. Let me be the peacemaker. Let me be the one that's going to diffuse and calm down the situation. And, there's been other instances where this has happened too. And I'll tell you, sometimes you think, I got it. Got it all together. Ain't going to happen again. But then all of a sudden you see when it happens, when you're faced with that temptation, or I don't want to say temptation, but that trial, that challenge, when it's in the midst of your face and you're in the moment going through it, that's when you're supposed to stay conscious and aware. And how they say walking in the spirit. You should be walking in the spirit at all times, because someone at any moment can come and throw you off your game and then you lost.
I know, right? There are some situations where winning is important, right? Basketball, sports,
right,
in general. I get that. But even though I have not been a sports or athlete, but I will hope that the players are still seeking enjoyment, because if it's all about just winning, I gotta be the top. I gotta be the top. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that or seeking that, but it's more so seeking to be better of yourself. Because I believe that, first of all, when it comes to relationships, though being in a sport, being on a team, that is a form of that's one type of relationship. When you are seeking to be better than you were, right, you should be competing with yourself. That's what I'm wanting to say. That you and I know they keep stats or data of how they played last game, how they played last year, and so forth. So they are trying to beat that, right? And I believe that's actually what helps them to win, them beating their previous self.
Or persevering.
Right.
Yeah.
Not so much focusing on let me beat this person, or let me be better. And then the excellence, it would just show for itself. You don't have to force it. Just you being a better player, better team member is going to manifest in winning.
Right.
So that's the same with a relationship with your partner, because you shouldn't be competing with your partner, right? Me being a better Nikei, Dino being a better Dino, like Dino said earlier about the different things we do, pours into one another, right? Because we are operating as a unit. So what he does in his life as an individual does have or can roll into me, and vice versa. So when we, again, are seeking to be a better person, not competing, right? Better person, period. Then Nikki is going to be better. It's going to be better for Dino, and vice versa. I hear this a lot. Of couples or people dating saying or asking of each other, are you competitive? That we shouldn't be asked. Actually, no, I take that back. That is a great question. However, the answer is something that's not good or bad, right? Because if somebody's competitive, that's their truth. But hearing someone say that they are competitive, or even that person even asking if the other person is competitive, it's like, what does that really mean? So if the person says or answers, yes, I am competitive, that is something that the person that asked the question should consider. Like, oh, okay, so if this person is competitive, then every time we play cards, go do this and do that, it's going to be all about that person winning. So that's just a little date tip, something to think about. And then vice versa, that person answering like, yeah, I'm competitive. But like, wow, I'm competitive. But why am I competitive? What are we really seeking? Because we're not, are we really gaining something by saying, I won at this. I beat you, I beat you, I beat you.
But
and the other person don't even want to play with you no more.
But what, like you just said, because I was thinking of this before we sat down, what is it that we're seeking when we win? And it's the feeling of enjoyment, the feeling of self-gratification, the feeling of I'm someone special, but there's so many different levels of people in this world, right? So sometimes we're competing against somebody that's on a different level than us, or sometimes we only want to compete with somebody that we think we're better than, so, there is no point to it. Just the fact that it's making you feel personally better than someone else. But like, it says, do unto others as you want them done unto you. You have to remember, how is it going to make the other person feel? How would I feel if I was in that seat? Or even in a relationship of you trying to win an argument instead of trying to seek understanding, you have to come back to your senses and be like, you know what? We're not getting nowhere right now. This is not fun. I'm arguing. We're fighting. We're in a disagreement. So the goal is to try to, like you said, be in unison, come together, fellowship, have fun, enjoy. The relationship gets better. The relationship gets stronger. And there's another thing that I'm hearing too. Let no man divide what God has put together. Sometimes that competition is what brings the division, and if you keep doing that and live your life like that all the time, what do you think is going to end up happening eventually?
Bigger divide.
Bigger divide. And then you're starting to wonder, why don't we have a great relationship? Why don't we talk? Why don't we share our feelings? Because if you're always winning all the time, who's going to want to play? If I know Michael Jordan is going to win all the time, why would I want to go play Michael Jordan? You understand? And after a while, it's like, okay, what's the use? There's no fun.
Well,
and one more thing, and even coaches, all right, because I brought up Michael Jordan. Even coaches say, go out there and have fun. That's one of the main things that coaches tell their players. Go have fun, because usually when you're having fun, you're loose, you're relaxed, you're in your true nature. You're not trying to be something that you weren't made to be. You're just being you. But instead you want the feeling of I'm greater, of I'm, So instead, check this out. Let's reverse it, right? So if you like the winning feeling, why not let someone else win sometimes, right? Have you ever done that, Nikki? Have you ever let somebody win?
Yes.
Because they're so competitive. Was that me?
Oh, yeah.
because you're like patting the ego down. You're like, okay, I'm going to let my husband win because...
Or just to balance it out some. So someone else can feel good.
So someone else can feel good. Because that's really the whole deeper meaning of all of this. Of feeling good.
Yeah, so going back to Michael Jordan. Now, if we're playing a basketball game where, sports, where it's like actual teams, though, not saying that there's a difference of a team versus this team, but me, myself, though I am not a basketball player, I would just be in true...
You don't shoot no rock, babe?
No.
I got some videos of you shooting basketball.
Oh, yeah, I forget. Yeah, when we was in...
don't believe that, y'all. She plays hoops.
Yeah, but whether it be consistently playing sports, basketball, though I love to, watch a game here and there, and I, enjoy hearing about the different players. Yeah, so like if I'm playing with Michael Jordan and he's winning the game all the time, that's not going to discourage me from playing with him. That's Michael Jordan just being who he is,
Right.
and Nikei is being who she is, right? I be lucky if I get 10 points, and I'm happy for that. If Michael Jordan gets 30, if not more, but probably more points, then be happy with that as well. And again, if that was like professional playing.
But you're
There's
talking
a
about
difference,
relationships,
right? Right. So, but I want people to know that it's okay if somebody is better than you
It's okay.
in something, right? But that does not mean they're better than you in everything, and it shouldn't even be no comparison.
Right.
And we really need to get out of that. We really need to get out. Well, I'm better than you in this, because it's really saying, as we sit here, right, when we was kids, you point a finger at somebody, you point three back, more back to you. So what is that really saying, right? That's saying that there's something going on within you that has to prove a point that I am better than you
to somebody else,
right? So that's some self work that's in that needs to be done. That you this constantly seeking validation, and when we're doing that with someone else, right? That, like you said about the ego, yes, feed my ego. That's what it's asking, it's screaming, feed my ego, yes, because I have to prove that I'm better than you, or really saying deep inside that I am valid, and you are valid, whether you win at a game or not. We should be seeking to enjoy each other more than how can I beat you at golf, beat you at basketball, beat you at card games, beat you in walking. We just came back from a walk a little while ago, and I was just in true enjoyment that my husband was walking with me. Yeah, it's whether it's fast or slow, it's not no whole. Let's see who can walk the fastest now. As Nikki walks, she gets faster. More as Dino walks, he gets faster, and I congratulate him for that. He does that for me too. We say this is just a thing we do. We believe in high fiving each other. Look that up, because it does stuff, in the brain. It really helps change things within somebody's mind. But that's what we should be seeking to do. Again, like we said before, when you are putting that mental note on your forehead, that post-it note on your forehead, seeking, hey, of course, making yourself better, right? Because you should be seeking of the self first. But if you are in a relationship, you are in a coupledom, as we say, how can I be better, or how can I seek to be better for this relationship as well? I thought I turned that off.
Pause. But anyway, and I get competition. It's a part of life, but it all depends on the setting and where you're at and what's involved. So because men are, evolving, and there has to be a sense of competition, but not so much to put someone down as much it is to get paid to be competitive, and win games and stuff like that. But like when you're hanging around with people in a relationship, what are you gaining? Nothing, but a whole bunch of issues. And then what happens is that people end up talking about you, and you have no idea. Oh, did you see how this person was? They didn't know how to act. They didn't know how to do this. Because we weren't mature enough, or we didn't conduct ourselves in the proper way. Unless you're with a whole bunch of people that everyone is competitive and everyone's the same.
That seems like a big problem, though.
Yeah, but it can get to a place where you come to blows. I mean, and it's really not all that serious.
No.
So in the same thing with your relationship, like I said before, just as a recap, be the peacemaker. You don't have to be right all the time, Listen to what someone is saying. You don't have to win even a conversation. I need to talk above you, and I need to be,
I gotta point this out.
I gotta point this out. Yeah, you gotta learn to respect one another, and because you want to be heard too, right? So you have to allow someone else to win the conversation too sometimes.
Well, to me, I don't see it as somebody winning. Even again when you, like you said, of having a conversation with someone, it's not about, oh, I'm winning or I'm right. I want you to hear me.
Yeah.
I want to be understood, and then both parties, or all parties, I should say, win.
Right.
But if it's just, oh, I won that argument or I won that conversation, nobody wins like that.
Right.
Because you have to prove a point, and like I said earlier, even more so, that's saying there's something that's going on inside of you of needing validation, and there's a difference between validation and appreciation, right? We all, as humans, want to be appreciated on this earth, right? Like I said to Dino, thank you for turning my phone off, sweetheart. Giving some appreciation. But validation, the way that I define it, is more of, I have to be pleased. I have to be pleased over no matter what is going on or how it may be making someone feel. And yes, appreciation, is more encouraging for the person or the other parties involved, and it's good for you, right? But then when we are seeking validation, like you could say, oh yeah, yep, I turned your phone off, turned your phone off. It's like, yes, I need you to stroke my ego. It don't matter how you feel about this, it's all about me.
Right.
And when it's all about you, in general, then it X's other people out. And we're supposed to seek to include
and it blocks
others.
you from seeing and you yourself learning things about yourself, because that's where you really win. When you learn and admit things about yourself and see things about yourself, that's who really wins. You do. So learning to see yourself when you're being out of pocket, when you're trying to be too competitive, when you're trying to be disrespectful, or when you are not inclusive with somebody else, that's when you're really losing. But the win is to see yourself and control yourself and say, you know what?
Yes.
I'm going to make this person feel good. Yeah, I could win. I could win. But I'm already a winner. Hello?
Right.
I'm already a winner. I
everybody
don't
have a
need
good
to
time.
win because I'm a winner already. Let someone else that feels like a loser win. You know what I'm saying? And I know Nikki's looking kind of funny because I said that. But I don't mean as a loser, as a person. But sometimes as people, we feel like we're not good enough. We're not, and that's why I believe like we want to win so bad. Because, in our spirit, in our mind, in our the depths of who we are, we feel like we're not winners. And I'm here to tell you, you are a winner. We are winners. But we think we're not winners. And that's a lie. You are a winner. So let's.
And no one is a loser.
So when you know you're a winner, just where I'm at now in my age and in my, in my manhood, I don't have to win anymore. Because you know what? I've won. I've already won. So there's no need to make someone else feel lost or a loser. We do that all by ourselves over and over throughout our lives. And you know what I'm talking about. There's times when we lack confidence. There's times when we feel we're not good enough. Times when we're not smart enough, So, and then on top of that, you hanging out with friends and making you feel that way, or you're doing it to each other. That's not what it's about. It's about everybody winning together.
Yes.
And helping each other get there.
Yes.
With friendships and relationships and marriages. That's the key.
I agree.
All right. So we will see you on the next one.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. And remember, you are a winner.
Yes. Nobody is a loser. I don't believe in that.
No.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes.